All right. Well, welcome to another SA Tech Dad podcast. I'm Drew, and we have Corey here with us. Hey, Corey.
Hey, buddy.
Hey. And Alan's not with us. He's got family duties to take care of, which, as a dad, I get. So we're going to keep rolling without him, but he may chime in on the social medias potentially. We'll see. We'll see if he can join us in a bit.
Yep.
Well, it's been a little bit since the two of us have been on the show together.
I know it's been a couple weeks since I've been on, and it's just been crazy. Work's been insane, and just trying to get our schedules to mesh has been, life has come up. So, but it's good.
Happens.
It does. It's always in the way. It's just like, oh, by the way, surprise, craziness. So, do what you can with what you got, right?
Absolutely. So you've shifted gears from a first shifter to a third shifter.
Yes, I'm walking in the dark again, back to the zombie life. So, working third shift again, back on the overnight stay. So that's not too bad.
So how does a question that comes to mind this week? There's been Taco Gate here in Central Texas. A writer mentioned how Austin is the Mecca, birthplace, owner, whatever of the breakfast taco, and as San Antonians, we take offense to such comments. And the breakfast taco is a beautiful and wonderful and hallowed thing here in San Antonio. While your schedule permitted, you were coming to work with a bulk of us day walkers, and the breakfast taco, I imagine, was a consistent part of your morning routine as a San Antonian. Am I right?
It still is. My shift usually ends about 8 a.m., so it's just enough time to get out and go to pick up breakfast tacos for dinner.
Very, very nice. So that was my question. How do you work a breakfast taco into a routine that's a bit?
It becomes dinner. Your breakfast becomes your dinner is what happens. But I mean, a breakfast taco, it's daylight. It feels necessary to eat. It's harder to eat like nighttime food at 8 o'clock in the morning. You're like, man, I'd really like a steak at 8 in the morning. No, I wouldn't, but I would really like a breakfast taco. So that's usually how my routine goes.
Okay.
And by the time I'm leaving work, someone's brought some semblance of a breakfast taco in at this point. So I'm going to get it regardless.
Well done. Well done. So 2 questions then. One follows this specific train of thought. Big Red and Barbacoa is a pretty standard situation. It's a fantastic Saturday morning breakfast, especially after a long Friday night. I tend to go more for the coffee and picadillo or something along those lines. But coming home from work, I imagine that something as sugary as Big Red or as caffeine laden as coffee might not be quite the ideal scenario if you plan on getting any shut eye in the next 3 hours ish. So what is the pairing there?
So it's interesting, right? So morning time, still a cup of coffee, always welcome.
I have a hard time arguing with that. Yeah.
The thing is, so I'm before I came to San Antonio, I was living in Houston, and then before that, I'm from Las Vegas. So I'm originally from that coast. So barbacoa and Big Red is not a thing. Like, never heard of it until I moved to San Antonio. Didn't know it was a thing. Didn't know it was a combination. And the idea of it originally was incredibly sickening to me because I'm thinking, why would you eat this? And then I tasted it and I was like, oh, that's why.
Got it.
That's okay. Yeah. All right. It's not an everyday thing, but I think that's a good balance though, like at 8 a.m. in the morning, because you want something a little sweet. You want a kind of like a brisket or something taco. It's a little bit easier than trying to load yourself up with a bunch of coffee in Starbucks and wired for sound for the next 8 hours and going, might as well just stay awake. I got to work anyways.
Who needs shut eye?
I just sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's fine. But yeah, so that's a much better. A soda in the morning at my schedule is normal because 8 o'clock in the morning you're like, I want something to drink. Just a little taste of something. I don't want to get any incredibly caffeined up, but works pretty well. And then with the breakfast taco, always a good combo. Always a good combo. Now, do you have a preference? I mean, obviously on this, we've talked on the podcast numerous times about coffee and all the different forms and how to drink it. You are one of the aficionados that I'm perfectly, that I bow down to and respect when I have these questions. So do you do pairings with breakfast tacos and coffee, or do you go with the Big Red route?
So I sadly, or unsadly, I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion on it at this point. I'm massively allergic to red food dye to the point where like pounding headaches, sparkling vision, need to lay down kind of situation until the digestive tract reverses itself and I clear my system. So I don't usually do the big red thing. And by usually, I mean I've never done big red barbacoa. I imagine that the sweet and savory go nicely together, but I'm not willing to risk the rest of my day to test that out. And I happen to be a big fan of coffee. So typically in the morning, I'll make a full Chemex, drink some of it at home, and then throw the rest to thermos and head to work. Actually, my friendly neighborhood down the block, Taqueria, has the least offensive coffee that I've had at a taqueria. Like it's
the least
offensive. Yeah. So a lot of times, cafe taqueria coffee is a little on the offensive side, usually because they're up so early and they've brewed it so long ago. By the time I get around to it, it's just not really in good shape. Even if it was decent to begin with, it's not in good shape then. But Bandera Molina, my favorite, my preferred, my close taqueria, is just awesome from a tortilla standpoint, from a filling standpoint, from an options standpoint. Way more options than I even intend to try, but they have pretty solid coffee too. So if I'm going to go have breakfast and sit down, I'll order their coffee and I'll be just fine. They have all kinds of great Mexican sodas. Apple soda is my go-to if I'm going to be having a soda with my breakfast. It's got that same sweetness.
The manzanita.
Oh yeah,
it's on point. Yes.
That or there's a tamarind jarritos that's really good.
Oh, hey, look at that. So that begs the question, like, so what is Austin's stance about tacos? Like, why are they trying to claim this? I mean, I get the barbecue thing, like, hey, we have some of the best barbecue in Texas. I mean, they've got Franklin's, they've got a whole bunch of other places.
Styles and Switch. I mean, the list goes on. Yeah.
Yeah. So then why take the breakfast taco route? I mean, nobody goes to Austin for a breakfast taco that I know personally. And I don't know if that's just because from San Antonio, but even Houston, we're huge. When I was there, huge into breakfast tacos, but nobody was like, hey, let's go to Austin and get breakfast tacos. Cause I don't understand the argument there, why they are trying to claim that when obviously San Antonio is the king of breakfast tacos. Like, you can't swing a cat without getting a breakfast taco here.
A great breakfast taco here. I mean, if you get a bad breakfast taco, it's either a one-off or that place isn't going to stick around long.
Yeah.
To be honest. So my theory is that Austin introduces the most people to the breakfast taco, introduces the most non-native Texan humans to the breakfast taco. And so because people's first experience with the breakfast taco is often in Austin, that association gives them the strength. But San Antonio is got the breakfast taco technology on lockdown. So the breakfast taco for Stream Outdoors and anybody else who's listening is a breakfast category. So
what did you just say? It's a breakfast taco.
Well, it is a taco for breakfast. Typically, the fillings are a little bit more egg-centric. They don't have to have egg for it to be a breakfast taco. Tacos for breakfast is the simplest definition of a breakfast taco, but it differs from a breakfast burrito in the fact that it's not all wrapped up and secured. It's just food laid in a tortilla and served to you instead of all crimped and sealed. So you can have a breakfast taco on flour or corn. It's not any good if it's not on a homemade fresh tortilla. You can certainly do any sort of addition to store-bought taco or store-bought tortillas that you want. But a breakfast taco standard is like egg and bacon, bean and cheese, huevos rancheros. There's all sorts of...
what is the one with the chips and the cheese?
Chilaquiles.
chilaquiles, like you can get those, and that's just it's a staple. And then you can mix and match. So my girlfriend, she gets breakfast tacos, and it's always potato, cheese, egg, and then just add whatever salsa, whether it's green or red, on top of that. So you know, or bacon, or usually a meat product, an egg product, and then some other filling for that point. You can get. I have seen some huge breakfast tacos. We have a location out here called Taco Garage, which is notorious for their tacos and their breakfast tacos. And it's one of the few places here that, you can get a margarita at 8 a.m. So you get a margarita and you get some breakfast tacos.
That's a pairing.
When I get off
That's
work,
a pairing I
get
could go for.
So, and then you end up with that combination. But yeah, so it's kind of like, it's all, Taco Bell is doing it now, right? So like the chains are getting onto this now. They're building breakfast tacos and trying to have people get into that. And I mean, it's just, like I said, everywhere in San Antonio has some semblance of a breakfast taco, and every Mexican restaurant definitely has a breakfast taco of some sort. Like you said earlier, that we gauge those restaurants by these tacos. That's really like, hey, okay, you can get anything you want, a burrito, a taco, this, but when it's time for breakfast, where do you go? What is your landing spot? What is your typical place to go? And but it's a generalization. So I would be curious to see if Austin had a specific birthplace of their breakfast taco, like a specific location. Because if they're going to tell me that it's something like Bill Miller, I don't think that counts. Because Bill Miller is a chain. They do barbecue. They just also happen to do breakfast tacos. So if that's what their argument is, that's completely invalid, because we've got Bill Millers, creeping up all over the place here in San Antonio, and I've been here forever. So if it's from an actual like down homegrown Latin restaurant that's like, hey, we made these first because we've been in Texas since, everybody was a wee baby, that's understandable, but I need a little more basis to say the birthplace.
Well, some of the best tacos I eat for breakfast, like a bean and cheese taco. There's nothing inherent about bean and cheese on a tortilla, and it's refried beans typically. I've not had a pinto bean or borracho bean or something like that, and cheese. So I've not really associated that with anything other than breakfast, because that's one of the items that I usually will order at specific shops. But there's nothing inherent about a bean and cheese taco that is breakfasty, other than it's delicious and I like it in the morning. Carne guisada and cheese, I will eat that for breakfast. I will also, for dinner, order a carne guisada plate and make myself a carne guisada taco and not feel awkward about having it for dinner. I will also cop to the fact that Brenner is one of my favorite meals of the week. My family usually has breakfast for dinner pretty consistently. We had actually waffles today, and it was fantastic. No chicken, just peanut butter and syrup. That's the way to go. I don't know if anybody else is down peanut butter and waffles, but that's the thing.
My kids are obsessed with it. Like, it's the only way they will eat waffles is with peanut butter and syrup. And I was like, really? And I tried it, and I go, okay, I see what you're doing there.
It's delicious.
So good combination.
It's delicious.
Good combination.
Yeah. So anyway, San Antonio is just bathing in wonderful breakfast taco options. There's really, if you go 3 blocks, you've passed 2 taco shops that are worth stopping in at. One
of our largest chains for gas stations, Buc-ee's, is notorious for having the hippo and for the breakfast tacos, and like you can get them at your local gas station at any given time. So
yeah. Do you have a go-to specific place or a taco to rule all tacos?
So Buc-ee's is the hippo is one of my favorite ones, because it's got everything. It's got sausage, it's got bacon, it's got cheese, it's got egg, it literally says, hey, is it a breakfast product? I put it in this tortilla for you.
Yes.
And that's usually, thank you. I'm always like, the bigger the better is always my idea. So anything that like tries to overstuff a taco, I'm pretty much on board with. And again, we have to understand, like, I don't ever see a breakfast taco that has like lettuce and sour cream and, all that extra stuff. It's pretty much just breakfast product. I think Taco Bell is doing one now that they have like breakfast crunch wraps, and then McDonald's has always been doing the whole, they try and do their McGriddle thing, but it's not taco people, so it doesn't keep
right.
Usually Buc-ee's is my go-to. There's a couple places here. Honestly, Taco Garage is really like my place to go, because I can get a good couple tacos and just walk out of that place, roll out of that place into my car, and just make it home and pass out. I'm done. Shift's over. Had me some tacos. Good.
Excellent.
Party full.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I live pretty close to Garcia's, which has an amazing brisket taco. It's just brisket and guacamole, and it's not overstuffed in the least, but it's fantastic brisket served on a homemade flour tortilla. It's simple and it's wonderful. The other simple and wonderful taco that I go for pretty consistently, also not terribly far from my house, is at the Original Donut Shop, which does sell donuts, but also sells tacos because San Antonio. They have a bean and cheese that it's just the little things. They have a flour tortilla that they throw cheese on, lay it on the griddle so that it starts to get crisp and the cheese starts to melt. Pull it off the griddle, put the refried beans on there, and then you have a little bit of crunch in that flour tortilla that's been heated on that griddle just long enough. The melty cheese that hasn't had to wait for the hot beans to start melting. It's already nice and melted. It's, for such a simple thing, a beautiful expression of that artwork. And then I think
I love that we went from we went from foodie to it's now art. Like we're literally having breakfast taco art.
It is. It's a culinary art. It's a beautiful and wonderful thing. And a lot of the places that you'll go have, it's a family affair. Those people have been cooking together literally their whole lives and can just produce magic. It's fantastic. And then my closest one I mentioned has just nonstop goodness. They have a picadillo that's mind bending. They have papa con queso, which is like
potatoes and cheese, man.
But the cheese is like they've sauteed onions and peppers. The cheese is all melted, and then they've got the soft and pillowy potato. It's just
glorious. It's so good. It's so fluffy.
And their corn tortillas are not the little thin, nearly falling. Oh my gosh, it's the best. It's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best. So, hey,
no, Austin, San Antonio had it first.
We win.
You want to come down? I think we should just do a cook off and just be like, hey, bring your breakfast tacos, bring your best, and we'll just wreck you out of this world.
Bring your top 10 and see if 3, 4, and 5 can handle our 10.
10. Yeah, just even keep up. I support this. We need to have an event. I support this idea. So I feel this is gonna be the food episode.
Well, there's more food to talk about. So we did mention at the turn of the year that we were talking about some of our goals and some of the ways we wanted to kind of approach the year. And I don't know if this is a straight precipitant of that conversation, but you've been enjoying Blue Apron here recently, and I have been really curious about that. So please share, what is Blue Apron? How'd you find out about it? And how's the process of using their service going?
So Blue Apron just came into San Antonio recently, and it's basically food brought to your door. The idea is a better way to cook. They send you a box. It's full of a bunch of ingredients. They say, here's the recipe cards on how to do it. It's very straightforward, very simple, very healthy, very fresh, like farmers market fresh. And it's really good. Oh man, is this happening?
That just happened.
That just happened. We have a guest. Well, I guess you're not a guest if you're already here, right? We have a host.
We'll let you troubleshoot your microphone because we can not hear you.
It's fine. We miss you anyway.
Say some words and see if we're just not paying attention.
No,
I got nothing.
Hear you.
We're gonna keep talking about Blue Apron.
We are. We're gonna still talk about. You just listen, Alan. That's fine.
You're welcome to throw your points in about tacos in the future if you even get that far.
Yeah, fair enough. So Blue Apron, it's food to your door. It comes in a box. Comes in a refrigerated bag with like freezer bags that like to keep the meat cold and fresh, so you're not worried about it like melting at the front door. So a buddy of mine at work, who was also on third shift, had a subscription, and he had an opportunity where he could give somebody a free trial of Blue Apron and send it over to me. So I got You get to pick your options. They have vegan options. If anybody know people, that's a big question that I get is, do you have vegetarian options? And I was like, yes, you do. You can get food for 4, food for 2. I just did food for 2, just simple meals, something. I was just going to try it, right? Because I didn't know what I was going to get into. I didn't want to have a bunch of food and go, okay, it's terrible. I'm never going to use this again. So they sent me 3 meals. It was fascinating too. So you get the box, you open the box. It's very clean, very silver bag. You open it up, it's all refrigerated. It's freezing cold. As soon as you open it, you can smell as fresh as the product is. It's literally like walking through a farmer's market. It's just everything is in there that you need to make these 3 meals. When I say that, they have little bags called knickknacks. And the knickknacks can be anything from like just a small dab of raisins to a seasoning packet to a glaze, right? Simple stuff. And each recipe has their own knickknacks. In my first box, I got lamb was the first one. And then we had chicken and we had a fish. We had salmon. Okay. And the salmon was out of this world. One of those things that I would never have cooked by myself, but it was one of those things that you see on like Pinterest, right? And it's like, oh, salmon on black rice with chopped up oranges and avocado freshly made from, and I'm like,
it's plated so beautifully that you're like, that looks great, but I ain't got that kind of time.
Like, I'll never make it. And I did it in 45 minutes.
Oh, nice.
And the instructions are wonderful. They give you literally like this lovely laminated explanation of where the food comes from, zesting, or like different tips on like, we got fingerling potatoes one time. So it was like, hey, how do you cook these, prepare these, roasting these? And the tips are so concise and like, hey, do this, hey, do that. It's maybe 9 panels usually. And it's like, hey, do this. While this is happening, do this. Check on this, and then finish this. And the timing at the end, you have 1 meal done. Everything is still hot because the timing is perfect. You just follow directions. I was like, okay, this is cool. Every meal I had was fantastic. Every meal I had was a good meal. It wasn't like, okay, 2 out of the 3 were good. Like all of them, they were great. And one of them was as simple as chicken, veggies, and chicken, potatoes, and like mashed potatoes and something else, and a veggie, like candied corn.
Do they take a specific, do they shoot for a specific amount of time for prep, or do you dial that in when you order it, or how does that work?
Oh, it tells you right there. It says, here's the card. It says you have 15 minutes prep time, 20 minutes cook time, and then anything else after that.
Can you order based on amount of like free time to cook? Hey, on Saturday, I'm going to have 3 hours to cook, so I don't mind something more involved, but on Tuesday...
I haven't seen anything. I have less time. I want to cook something faster, right? I just want to do like a spaghetti.
Right.
You don't know. See, that's the thing, right? So it's pretty much pigeoning you into having only so many options. 3 options, you choose the time. One's a longer meal to cook, one's a shorter meal.
And it all ships together, so you get 3 complete meals.
No, you get 1 bag. It's all
3 complete meals together, yeah.
3 meals.
Cool.
Yeah. So you get the 3, you get your 3 proteins, you get your 3 veggies, you get your 3, whatever the special thing is at the time. And it was great. The salmon thing that I made was grilled salmon, very simple to make, but it was this black rice, chopped up an orange, just sliced it up, threw it in there, cubed it, threw in some avocado, didn't have to add anything except for like a little glaze for the salmon, mixed it all up. It was outstanding. I didn't even know black rice was a thing, and here I am making it in 30 minutes. Ate it up, ate the whole thing. I just lost my mind. My girlfriend doesn't eat fish, so I just ate it. I may have eaten all of it, both meals. But it was great. It's a fun thing to do. It's a fun thing, like if with your spouse, to also like, hey, let's cook something. Hey, you do this, I'm going to do this. Hey, do this, do this. And it's experience of food that you typically would go to a restaurant and try. And the best part, that no matter what else you get out of this thing, even if you like the recipes, you don't like the recipes, you get these cards. And the cards tell you the measurements, the time, and exactly what you need. So I can walk to a grocery store and I have my grocery list. Hey, I need to buy this many chicken breasts, I need to buy this piece of salmon, and I need to buy this, that, and the other. Done. I get to have the exact same meals. I have the instructions right there in front of me, and I'm building my own cookbook. So at one point, I'm just going to stop getting Blue Apron and go, I have all the recipes that I need. But then every week is like something else, like, hey, we're making, amazing burgers with chili and cheese, and it just looks absolutely astounding. Or my new one is I got codfish that I'm going to make over on top of udon noodles. So I'm making Asian dishes now, and I'm like, so I'm excited about this. And now let's talk about price. That's the kicker, right? So it happens every week. You get 3 meals. It's $59.99.
And is that for the 2 or the 4?
That's for the 2. I didn't even check the 4. So I probably have to check. I can look on the pricing. You can go to blueapron.com and look all this stuff up. So with the 2, you get 3 meals, which is enough. So you get 2 meals, 3 meals to feed 2 people.
6 total meals, 3 total recipes.
6 total meals.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So it's about $20 a meal. But you're also getting like top quality beef, top quality lamb, top quality chicken. Like it's not stuff that is just, it's farm fresh. It's like, it's not what you buy at the grocery store typically. Right. How about that? It's not like you're trying to say, you don't want the $3 chicken, you're spending the $9 chicken. Like that's where you're getting the food at. So it's higher level ingredients. I get that, but totally worth it. So $120 every 2 weeks if you're thinking about grocery wise, but you end up with 6 meals, potentially 12 dinners in total. That's a lot of food. And I can't shake a stick at it. Yeah, it seems a little bit pricey when you say the $60, but when you look at it overall, overarching, and then to be able to make the cookbook outside of that, it adds up and pays for itself. It really does. So.
Okay, so we're still not hearing Alan.
Got nothing.
Okay, continue your troubleshooting, Alan. You may jump out and he's going to try Mozilla. I already asked him to Firefox.
Hey, I just did this.
Very nice. We may see him, we may not. Who knows? Okay, so I have more questions.
Yeah.
So you've got some kiddos. Is it the kind of stuff that is relatively easy to like split up the work? You mentioned your girlfriend's able to show up and do a couple of different tasks. Is it conducive to like, hey kids, you guys work on these 2 things. We're going to assign everything out and then everybody cook together? Or is it really more of a let's just eat together and enjoy it that way?
So I guess it would be, from my opinion, not for the younger kids. Like sometimes there's like a little bit, like you can have a kid sit there and just cut something up or like peel an orange or something, like something, or use a zester. Zester's just the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah. Here's a butcher knife.
Yeah, right. Okay, good luck. I brought you this.
Use this blowtorch.
So it's pretty simple for kids to do, and then with adult supervision, it would be fine. But again, like the first one I got was like lamb arrayas. It was the Greek like pita with chopped lamb in it, whatever. So like a lot of that I did. But like the chicken meal, hey kids, I need you to make mashed potatoes. All right, that's cool. Throw potatoes, boil, mashed potatoes. Hey kids, put some on it, mash them up. All right, great. Add this. It was funny because the butter is like, hey, here's your thing of butter. Split it in half. Half goes here, half goes there. Done.
Very nice. Yeah.
Okay. Seasonings. Empty this packet into said potatoes. Ta-da! So there's simple things to do that kids could just be like, hey, do this, do that. Gonna happen. That should be. Follow me on Twitter. I'm always posting my recipes and posting what I'm making, so you guys can see my my terrible green plates, which I put everything on. But you can see the food and what it comes out at the end and what it looks like. And I actually did a whole step-by-step process the other day on the salmon meal, which was really cool because it was like, hey, I did this and I did this and I did this. And by the time it's all done, here's what it looks like. It was great. But yeah, for families, totally on board with this. Absolutely. I think that it's a healthier option because you're like, you have all the ingredients. You don't have to be like, oh, I forgot something. I have to run to the store. It's right there. So, we don't have so-and-so. Let's go get McDonald's. It's right in the bag and it's everything you need. So you just go and do
nice. So 2 things. I've got a daughter who is 2 and cannot stand for someone to be in the kitchen without her also pulling up a chair or stool or something to help. She always wants to, I help you. So anytime anybody's doing anything, I could be making coffee or I could be boiling water. It doesn't matter. My wife could be chopping things up or she's in there helping. So anything that can involve her is very cool. The other thing is,
when you do the family plan, the family plan is geared towards that for families cooking together. So it is. So I was just looking at the Blue Apron side. So it's recipes per week. You get 2 recipes per week, but it serves 4. And it's $69. 4 people. It's approximately $8.74 a person. Oh my God.
Yes, I think you can.
Alan? Say something. Oh, I hear you.
There he is.
Oh, hi.
Hey, guys.
Well, good.
Glad you made it.
So am I.
Yeah.
So am I.
I'm sure the rest of our fans are happy that you're back too. So
Yes.
So like I was telling Drew just now, the family plan for Blue Apron breaks down to about $8.74 per person, and for 2 meals a week. You can also do the 4 meals every week for 4, which is also about $8.74, which is I think $139 every 2 weeks. But that's 4 meals. That's most of your week done. That you've got dinners, right, to feed a family of 4. And those are geared for like having the kids help and having them put stuff.
That's a great idea. Is it like a contract thing where you have to go and locked in?
That was my question, right? Is that I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get locked in. How long do I do this for? It follows that whole pause until you're ready to do it again. So I did it for a week and I did it for another week. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do it this week. So I went back and I just said pause for a week. You do it right there on the website. Pause until the week of February, the week of March, right? And this is okay. We'll send you a box as soon as this activates. And I'm like, okay, so you can stop and start as much as you want, and you can go like a month out if you want, and just say, hey, I'm not gonna do anything for this month. I'll do it for next month, and then just wait, and then the box just shows up, and it's like, hey, ta-da, food.
Well, that's great. I think what you want to, it's great for the budget, and it's also great for, oh, hey, I went on vacation, and I'm going to pause it so I don't come home and have like 2 weeks worth of rotten meat on my doorstep.
Rotten salmon.
So.
Right. And it's just, and like I keep saying, it's that this huge silver bag in your refrigerator. So when I walk by, I open the fridge, I'm like, ooh, I got to cook that. I got to make whatever that is.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't want to. You don't want to forget about it. Exactly.
That would be a bad day. So the vegan options or vegetarian options, what else can you basically guardrail around? And do you get to choose any of the, like, hey, that Moroccan chicken thing was great, I want that like every month? Is that an option, or is it we're going to send you curated what we think is best? Try not to kill you with gluten.
You can do allergies and say, my family has this many specific allergies, and then just make sure that whatever recipes you send me don't have X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And they will cater to that. You can send special requests and say, hey, I want this or I want that. Or add your favorites. Like, what did you think of this recipe as a favorite? And then they send it to you again one day. But their main goal is to get you to try different things. They want you to try as many different options as possible, because rather than doing, what are we dodoing this week? That spaghetti was really great. We should have that again. So just kind of, you have your staples at home. Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, so it's $139 for the meals. So you have 4 meals a week, and then you add in whatever your extra stuff is. So, if you have your staple meals, your easy go-tos, your loaves, your typical home meals, on top of that, you may be spending another $40, $50. So for a family of 4, you're spending about $190 and $180, but you have food for a while. And it's all fresh food, and it's keeping you from going out, and it's giving you something to do as a family, and it's totally worth it. I think everybody should try it. And if you know somebody who has it, tell them to send you a link and try a free trial and do it for a week and see what you think. And again, before the week is up, before you have to pay for it, you can say pause. I don't want to do this, or stop completely. And then you just don't have to keep paying for it. But at least you get to try it for a week.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's really compelling. So very cool.
Well, to me, what's interesting is the ability to get just enough of a certain spice, just enough of something to give it a taste, to see, oh, hey, this is something that I would like to try, and as opposed to having to, jump in $5 or $10 for to make one recipe. I need to go and buy some certain spice that you can't get anywhere else. So.
Yeah. I made the mistake of making butter chicken a couple of weeks back, and by mistake I mean I'm the only one in my family who liked it. I loved it. I got a whole bunch of curries and tandoori and all sorts of other things that I would love to continue using, that I'm going to have to use at some point down the road when I'm bachelor for the weekend or something, because my family was not down with that butter chicken, and I could eat it again right now. But those spices are going to sit around, and that's not great for spices. Ideally, you don't let that stuff sit around too long, because all the essential oils and everything that makes it uniquely wonderful and fresh go away when it's not fresh.
Yep, most definitely. I know those feels, bro.
I hate those feels. They hurt.
But I agree, like with Alan, the spice thing is always a big thing to me because it was like, what do I buy? Or you buy a couple spices and then you make a recipe that needs none of those spices, but needs these other 4 spices. And you're spending, $5, $10, $15 in spices, and it just becomes an absolute pain. So when they say, here, this tiny cup of Moroccan mix, you're like, done. You don't have a waste. You don't have anything to take care of. It's just done. And there's not like, half a teaspoon of this and 3/4 of a teaspoon of that. No, just dump this in here. Cool. You have food now.
Nice.
So too much fun. I'll recommend it. I may send one of you guys one of the links. I'll see if I can send you each a link to try that for a week, and we can have your
appreciate it.
On it. No problem.
All right. Well,
so what do we talk about? We talked about breakfast tacos. We talked about Blue Apron.
The only thing.
What else do we have?
Alan didn't get a chance to pitch in on his breakfast tacos, so the only thing I'm going to ask you is, what is your go-to breakfast taco?
So I'm really a creature of convenience, right? So for me, the breakfast tacos that I am most likely to have are going to be the vendor that comes into work, Letitia's, which is fantastic. They make delicious food. Love it. And then the other one that I have is Taco Jalisco number 2, which is right around the corner from my house and is on the way into work or on the way to pick something up over the weekend. So a lot of good stuff there. Big fan of both of those.
What's your order at those 2 shops?
So this is the dilemma is, if I'm sitting down, I'm probably going to get chorizo, egg, and cheese. I'll mostly get a bean and cheese and bacon, right? Because it's can't go wrong with that. But man, the chorizo just is delicious and it's greasy, and so you got to kind of watch out on those. So if I'm going to be taking it to go, I'll probably grab a bacon and egg or a chorizo potato, which actually kind of soaks up that extra grease, so it doesn't get everywhere. I think it's a driving hazard when you get too much chorizo on your hands and you're sliding around. So
it's problematic.
Gotta watch over that. Yep.
So same order both places?
Yeah, usually. I'm still kind of new to San Antonio, so I'm trying to figure out what's best. But yeah, that's usually what I get.
Bean, cheese, and bacon and chilaquiles is my Leticia's go-to. That's it's fantastic stuff. Well, cool.
Yep.
So this last weekend, I was traveling a little bit. We went to go visit family in Bernie, not terribly far, but we had some family in town as well. And so we grabbed the kids' scooters and went down to the river in Bernie there, along the Riverwalk, what's it called? There's a walkway. It's a little park. There's a park there that is by Cibolo Creek, and they've got ducks and geese and that kind of thing, and a nice large wide pathway so that my wild driving kids can take up most of it and still have some space to walk. So we went down there a little early and let them run around by the water, and then ate lunch at the Dodging Duck Brew House, which is a favorite of mine when the weather is nice, and the weather was pretty good. Has been really most of the winter. So we went down there and had some good food and some tasty beverages. I got the Flight. They have 4 beers on tap and then a beer on cask. However, there's an IPA that is both on cask and on tap. So really of the 5 options, there are 4. So I had all 4. I can recommend their IPA. They have a pale ale that's like a Belgian pale ale with juniper and cedar, which I enjoyed as well. They have a pretty average Irish stout that, if that's your style, doesn't really blaze any new territory, but it's a good representation of that style. And then they have a con beer that I wish they would have served over waffles because it was really, really sweet still. I don't know if it was just not as fermented as it needed to be, or if they were going for a praline kind of thing, because I could see that working out pretty well. But that's the kind of beer that probably ought to be served with ice cream or over pancakes or something like that. It didn't really stand up to the Flight. So I recommend their IPA if you're in town. And I also recommend their cheesesteaks. They've got chimichurri cheesesteak, a regular cheesesteak, and then those are the only two I had, and they're fantastic. I shared with some friends, but they have Korean beef wraps that were pretty good, solid soft pretzels. So nice outdoor patio. If the weather's good place to let the kids be outside and be a little bit more rambunctious, and then you can blow off steam down at Cibolo Creek. So we had a good weekend, and I can definitely recommend Dodging Duck.
Good deal. We'll have to check it out. I'm going to check it out. That's all there is to it. I'm just going to go. Just take a Thursday and just see y'all later. I'll be there and I'll eat and drink for the rest of the day.
On a future episode, I will also review the Random Beer Garden, which is out further north in Bernie on the other side of I-10. Good place for the kids. Lots of food trucks. There will be more to come on that.
But which one are you going to review?
I already reviewed Dodging Duck, and I will be reviewing Random later on.
Right, but why don't you just choose one? So, which one are you going to do? Is it just going to be some random one? Or
yeah,
it's the random one that I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'll do the random.
Randomly.
I might do it right now. It'll be random. I'm not going to right now. I'll do it randomly. It would not be random if it was now.
There you go.
That's random.
Pause.
So, all right. Well, on that note, I have something to add, and I know we didn't cover this earlier, but as a SATechDad soapbox, I want to get this out in the open. So there's a movie that came out that's getting a lot of contestation. It's a fantastic movie. It's great. It's hilarious. I loved it, and that would be Deadpool. Okay. So the reason that I want to bring this up, and this may not be your bag, it's hyper violent. It's incredibly vulgar. It's
Deadpool.
Just dirty humor. It's Deadpool. It's what everybody expects it to be, right? It's Ryan Reynolds in his finest role. It's everything that you want. I saw this movie and I walked out of the theater and I was like, I want to go see it again. It was great. One of the things that I'm getting from a lot of parents is, Corey, do you think I should take my kids? Now, I am an avid comic viewer. Like, if it's a movie or a comic book, I'm like, yes, I want my daughter to be into it. She's, into the DC cartoons, the Marvel cartoons. She knows who Deadpool is cartoon-wise, but not the actual comic because it's not really geared for children. 10 years old, knows who Deadpool is. Will I take her to see it? Absolutely not. And I will tell you not to do the same thing with your children. And I don't even think you really need to take your teenagers to see this movie because it's not geared for them. This is a Marvel movie that's geared for parents. And this is my PSA. Don't take your kids. That's it. Just don't take them. And I don't care how mature you think they are or what they can deal with. I see a bunch of stuff all the time about, it's just violence. I'm not worried about it. I'm like, no, there's some extreme stuff in there that I'm like, even made me blush a couple times. I'm like, ooh. And I can't in good conscience say, hey, go take your kids to go see this. And I'm getting, like I said, I'm getting a lot of feedback from it. I'm getting a lot of questions about it. And everybody I've told is, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I advise you, the fathers that listen to this podcast, just go see it without them. Just go see it, or just do a date night with your wife, or just go by yourself and go enjoy it. But just don't take your kids.
Yeah, that's it. That makes all the sense to me in the world, right? I mean, like, it is rated R for a reason, and I realize that I'm sounding like one of my own parents, but I'm a parent now, and it's rated R, and it's supposed to be rated R, and I would absolutely have no problem seeing it myself so that I can decide whether or not it's something that my kids are ready for. Would I like for my kids to be invested and involved and enjoy a bunch of different comic book movies? Absolutely. Do they need to enjoy it right now? Probably not, but I'm not going to know that unless I see it myself. So I'm going to spend that extra $8 to watch it by myself and then watch it again. So that's always worth it to take a little extra time to check it out yourself.
Yeah, just do your research. Like I said, I took her to see Avengers. She's going to see Civil War. We went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy. And again, some of that stuff's a little bit more adult oriented, but it's enough there that she knows the character. She knows the humor. Right. She gets it. She's, old enough to understand that. I'm not going to take my 3-year-old, but I'll take my 10-year-old and be like, hey, we're going to go see a Marvel movie. Come on. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is out. Hey, let's go see that.
Yeah, but those are all PG-13 movies.
Right. Things that are like, hey, need parental guidance. I'm here guiding my child. Hey, do you understand this is fake? If you need anything, do you want to talk about anything, I'm here for you. But like, I would never, ever, ever. Someone asked if they wanted to take their 11-year-old, and they're like, "Do you think it's okay for an 11-year-old?" No, don't go to Deadpool with an 11-year-old. Don't be that person. Please don't. So yeah, I just want to make sure that's out in the open, and my soapbox is done. But don't take your kids to see Deadpool. Please don't do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's just a general question about, well, it's based on something that's illustrated. Illustrated things are for kids. No.
That's right.
No, that's not true. And so, yeah, that's helpful. Anything that you can digest before you just blindly walk into a situation with your child who's not ready. I mean, the difference between what you do with a 3-year-old and what you do with a 10-year-old is pretty drastic, and always weigh those things. Is the kid ready? I mean, I've talked about on this podcast, when do I present the Star Wars trilogy, right, the original, and then the rest of the canon to my son. He's 5. He's probably ready for some of it, but there's other things that we'll get there pretty soon. Like, I know it's coming and it's probably this year, but I want to be sure that it's done right and with a conversation instead of blindly and with abandon. So I'm going to go through the process ahead of time. I've seen the movies. I know what's there. And then from an educated position, I can go forward. So thanks for your educated position, Corey.
Yeah, we see a lot of that, especially like in the video game industry. Yeah. You see the parents that just blindly buy their kids whatever. It's rated M, whatever. And you end up with these kids playing Grand Theft Auto who are like 9. And you're going, guys, this is not a game for a 9-year-old.
Absolutely
at
not.
all.
Yeah.
And that's always up to the parents' discretion. I understand, but come on, just be aware what the product is. Now, I'll play it. I'll play Grand Theft Auto 5 all day long. Let's go. You guys want to play? Let's hop on. I'll play right now. But am I going to let my 10-year-old play it? No, she doesn't need that. Nobody needs that negativity in their life. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Sometimes I think parents just don't take the time to invest in that and make sure that they're paying attention to what the media that their kids are consuming. Yeah. And that's really because it's at our faces all the time now. I think that we need to be into it. It goes down to like stuff on the radio. My daughter will come home and sing a song, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Hold on, Daddy's gonna Google the music video and see what we're watching. And hold on, like she made a joke about Hit the Quan, and I was like, what is Hit the Quan? And she goes, it's that song, Dad. I'm like, hold please, come back and Google. I'm like, okay, I know what that is now. Let's continue to have this conversation. So
educate yourself.
Research your media. That's all you need to do. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Alan, you got anything else?
Great points, Corey. Really appreciate that. No, I think that's about it for me. I haven't seen Deadpool yet. I need to, so I can have an opinion on that. We do have some upcoming events, though, that I really want to make sure that we get a chance to plug and mention them really quickly. Just in the interest of promoting civic duty, if you're here in Texas, early voting is going on right now. Early voting ends tomorrow, and then the actual primaries are on Tuesday the 1st. That's it. That's the facts. No more politics. Also up and coming.
Be an informed voter. Don't vote blind.
Yes,
vote
absolutely,
and vote with information.
I
won't say anything else.
End of sentence. Okay. So also coming up, a couple of really interesting events that one that looks like it's new. It's called the Mockingbird Festival, and it's actually going to be at Hemisphere Park. Yeah, Yanaguana Park, which is one of the first things we talked about on this show, which is really cool. But it looks like it's going to be some type of a culture and music and food festival. It's not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the 5th, at Hemisphere, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of interesting stuff there. And one thing that really interests me is that our good friend Dom from Dom's Chop Salsa is one of the major sponsors of this. So the best salsa in San Antonio. Great guy, great story. Built up his salsa empire, and he's going to be out there slinging some salsa. Just got into HEB stores, which is phenomenal. It's great. It's a completely San Antonio born and bred product, and now it's in San Antonio's best supermarket. So really interesting stuff. Looks like there's going to be some craft beer out there. There's going to be some chefs and some music. So it might be a fun thing to take the family to if you are not at Wurstfest Craft Beer Festival up in New Braunfels. Is that New Braunfels? It's in New Braunfels, yeah. And that looks like it's going to be a blast. There's going to be 80 some odd beers from a whole stable of craft brewers. Most of them are actually from Texas, which I really enjoy. I love seeing all the local beers there, as having a tasty beverage myself from one of the breweries that's going to be there. And there you go. I don't think Odell is Odell. I don't think I saw Odell on that list.
They're not going to be there, but it's tasty and it is craft.
Just too bad. But that's also happening on the 5th of March. So you're going to have to choose probably between one of the two of them, and also choose between TEDx San Antonio, which is happening at the same time. So I'm hoping that one of the TED Talks is about time travel and quantum reality, so that I can attend all of the events simultaneously.
Braided and in parallel.
Yes, exactly. So to enhance the enjoyment of all of them, I will be at all of them at the same time. So if that can happen, let us know. Let us know if you're working on that technology, and we'll incorporate it into our weekend. Have you guys ever been to any? The Mockingbird Festival is new, but TEDx, the Craft Beer Festival at Wurstfest, have you guys hit up any of those yet?
I've done the Wurstfest a couple times actually, and Wurstfest is a blast. The area that they're in is very cool. They have old classic like pewter mugs, and it's German, right? Yeah, you just show up and you drink tankards of beer, and they do have a large beer selection from Germany, but they also have a large craft beer section. So you may not. There's a couple things that you might not get that are not necessarily Wurstfest themed, but you still have the options. Lots of stuff that they have shopping-wise is tons of stuff that you can buy, and just rugs and Viking helmets and just huge tables that everybody can sit down. Oompa bands playing and loud music. It's a really good time in the evenings. Fun to take the kids early in the evening. Just go let them walk around, get some schnitzel, or get like sausage on a stick.
A little Polliner, a little Spaten, a little Versteiner. Yeah, it's not bad.
That's the one that happens usually in the fall, right? In November.
Yep.
And it looks like this is their craft beer only offshoot, which I think is great. I'd kind of.
It's a good venue. They might as well use the venue. They've got a great space. Yeah. It's right by the water, and it's in a good location. I've been a couple times and enjoyed some delicious German sausages and some delicious beverages as well. So yeah, they've got lots of great options there.
Yeah, this is. I'm looking at the list right now. There's a lot of beer, and like I said, most of it is it's very Texas heavy, which is wonderful to see. Man, I got to see what I can do to get out there. Make some plans to be out there. Also, I just want to point out that they are having the Maßkrugsstammen, which is a beer stein holding competition where participants hold a full beer stein out at arm's length for as long as they can in an endurance competition, which
have you seen this?
I have not.
Have you seen
I certainly
this?
hope that I do soon. It hurts my shoulders.
It's not a joke. Right? Yeah. So when I heard the thing, I'm going, just hold your beer. I hold my beer all night long. No. A stein like this, a beer, or like just one of those big, you're like doing these and your arms falling down, you're just uncomfortable and you hate life, and you're like, I just want to drink the beer and go sit down. But to see these guys hold it up and just stand there, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I'd rather drink the beer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it's for.
I think that's a solid plan.
So.
Cool. Yeah. So I hope that we can get out to some of these events so we can report back on them.
Yep.
I think we can.
Yep. So we'll come back on hopefully next week. We'll come back and have some of these things, and we'll talk about what we did over the weekend, and definitely have so much stuff coming up next week. And the couple weekends from here, we'll have lots of stuff to talk about.
Is anything coming up next or this weekend, the 26th and 7th? I know
Sherwood
Rodeo's
Forest Fair is going on.
What's that?
Yeah, Sherwood Forest Fair is going on right now.
Yes, that's right.
So that's actually in McDade, Texas. McDade, McDade,
That's the place.
Texas.
Yep.
That's it. Which is like the little, like it's built for this fair. Like that's all this little town does. Tickets are on sale. Tickets for kids are like $10. Adults 13 and over, it's like $18. It's fun times. It's the Renaissance Festival to get you to the Renaissance Festival. So it's like the midway point. Smaller venue, but fun. Turkey legs, lots of stuff going on. Just if you're into Renaissance festivals, this one's a definite go-to. And usually the big one is in fall in Houston. So this is kind of like the halfway point where you go to this one and then pick up some stuff and then like you wear it to the next one. So, but yeah, it's great times. I highly recommend it and definitely want people to check it out. So I'll be going. So I'll be coming back with a full review of that one.
Fantastic.
Great.
Oh,
yeah, definitely looking forward to hearing about that. All right. Excuse me. All right. So, Drew, you got anything this weekend that we need to throw on the list?
I have nothing of importance to be aware of other than it is the rodeo wrap up. I believe Friday is the free go and do the stuff during the day. Like it's not necessarily you can't go in and watch the rodeo itself free, but livestock show I think is free on Friday.
Okay, cool.
You got the day off, take the kids.
Well, that's cool.
If you don't, take the day off and take the kids. Also, if you have a very small car, you'll have a lot easier time parking because there are large trucks everywhere. So keep your wits about you.
One of my son's buddies got third place in the mutton busting competition this past weekend. So really happy for that kid.
I think my daughter's going to be epically good at that.
How is this a thing? Only Texas would be like, hey, let's strap a kid to a sheep with a helmet and see how long he holds on.
We give him a
There's
helmet.
a helmet involved. You get a helmet.
The kids are great. Like at the end, like they're so proud. Like,
well, the 4 or 5 of them are so proud. The other ones are weeping. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
And they should feel bad about their poor performance, honestly. So
they should. I tell my daughter all the time. I look.
You
at her
did bad, and you should feel bad.
You did. You got bad grades this week. You're gonna do mutton busting. Yeah. I got the sheep. We got the sheep. I got a helmet. This is it. That's how you get your grades up.
We had to take the timeout chair to the shop for repairs. You're gonna have to mutton bust. Sorry.
Yeah. Got a mutton bust.
Nice.
Strap my 3-year-old to it in a heartbeat and be like,
go have fun.
And be like, go.
Have a great time.
Good luck.
Nice. So. All right, we'll do that thing. Spurs will be back in town here before too terribly long.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a full, healthy group. I think Manu and Kawhi have both been having some injury issues, so hopefully they're
hopefully get some people up and tip top.
That'd be good. So, all right, go Spurs go. That's all I got, Alan.
Yes.
I don't know if you got anything else.
Is that all you got? I don't think I have anything else. I'm doing improv at Comedy Sport San Antonio on Saturday, the 27th, I think. So doing that. If anybody's actually still in town, come out and see it. If you're not at the rodeo, it's always a good time. And I don't know. I don't think I have anything else.
Good deal.
All right. Well, let's close it out because I got to get going to work. Yay.
Go to work.
Third shift strong. So.
All right.
Yes. Thank you for holding down the fort for us. We appreciate that.
Happy to help.
No problem. Good time. And I need to come back anyways, my long-awaited return. So.
Well done.
Yeah. I'm glad to have you back.
So, till next week, gentlemen.
All right.
Adieu.
Take it easy.